everybody, it's Pastor Robbi. I hope that you are staying warm. I bet over the last week you've probably done some things that you've never done before and will never do again to try to stay warm and to try to stay entertained. You've had to be super creative. And you're probably waiting, like me and like most people in this area, you're waiting and waiting and waiting, hoping that power is going to come back to your house. To see that light come on, oh, it would feel so good, right? To take a hot shower, just something that simple would feel so amazing right now, and I get it. But we're going to talk just for a moment. I don't want to keep you guys too long because I know some of you are running on battery on your phone, and you're having to charge out in your cars or do something creative to even watch this video. But when we're talking about being waitlisted, and this is perfect for what's going on here in the Boyd County area this week. We feel like we've been waiting and waiting for power, and maybe even just waiting for the next storm to come along. Now, I know you've probably heard of David and Goliath before, right? You remember David was this kid who defeated a gigantic warrior with just a slingshot and God's help. Well, shortly before that thing with the slingshot happened, David heard that God had chosen him to be the next king of Israel. Now, I said the next king. Didn't mean you're going to be the king of Israel right now. See, it's a pretty awesome promise to be told you're going to be the king. But what God didn't tell David at that time was that David would need to wait for that promise to be fulfilled or to come true. And the waiting was going to be really difficult. In fact, David had to do some of the same stuff that we have been doing this past week. He didn't get to live in his nice, comfortable home where everything was normal. He had to live life in a survivor mode and be out on the run. You see, although God had chosen David to be the next king of Israel, Israel already had a king, and King Saul was not happy about being replaced. And so things got so bad that David had to flee the country, and while King Saul and his men all the time were trying to hunt David down and kill him. So yeah, David was in survivor mode. He had to sleep in caves. Some of you have felt like that this week. You're huddled together on the floor with 18 blankets on. But this wasn't what David wanted. I'm sure what you're going through is not what you would want. And it wasn't what David planned. But here's what's amazing. Through all of it, David never stopped trusting or talking to God. David knew that while we're waiting, God is listening. And so I want to read to you guys out of the book of Psalm. And a lot of the chapters of Psalm are actually written by David. And the thing that's interesting is as you hear the Psalms, like in your own mind, here's an imagination challenge. These chapters were like the lyrics to songs. And so you put whatever music you want to this, but this is going to come out of Psalm chapter 66, and I'm going to read the first 6 verses. So if you didn't catch that right there, Psalm chapter 66, verses 1 through 6. From David, he says this: "Shout with joy to the Lord, all the earth. Sing the glory of His name. Make His praise glorious. Say to God, how awesome are your deeds. So great is your power that your enemies cringe before you. All the earth bows down to you. They sing praise to you. They sing praise to your name. Come and see what God has done. How awesome His works in a man's behalf." That's pretty cool, that he could write words that were just praising God and lifting God's name up while he was probably writing from a cave somewhere with hundreds of men trying to hunt and kill him. That's pretty incredible. So though he was waiting, and this waiting went on for like over a year, if I'm not mistaken, even though he was waiting, he was still not only trusting God to make things okay, but he was talking to God along the way. So I want to encourage you guys that even though we're not going to be meeting tonight because of the weather and the power outage and all of that, until we do meet again, be talking to God. That can mean you just sharing what you're thinking, what you're feeling, and what you want Him to do. Or it could just be even listening, just taking some moments and being quiet and saying, God, what do you want to teach me right now? Or what is it I need to hear from you, because right now life kind of stinks. So anyway, be talking to God and trust God, because even while we're waiting, God is listening.